Okay, guys. So what's up? How's it going? What can I help you with today?
So, Dr. Pam, I'm not gonna lie, I need more structure.
Okay.
Um, we had we never got the questions that you said that you had asked, that you said you
What were they were on? Was it family?
yes.
And I do apologize for that.
So we never got the question, so I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know what to like because that was my
Hmm.
question before we ended. I was like, I don't even know how to study this because it's so much. So I didn't do too well. So is it possible we can run it back or go a little
Hmm.
deeper so I
Hmm.
can understand fully?
We will, and I do apologize for not sending you questions. Let's see here. Let's go through, let's learn through questions.
I had one question, Dr. Pan.
Okay.
So, for me, I'm having trouble differentiating coalition versus alliances, because they seem similar to me.
They are. So I don't think that I've seen a I don't think I've seen a question that uh that differentiates them.
Okay.
What is the other book in front of you? What does it say?
Um, so it's coalitions is alliances between specific family members. That's how I interpret it. Um, and so, well, yeah, that's how I understand.
So the here, I'll give you the but I don't think I've seen the test question where I uh have had to differentiate between.
Hmm. Okay.
Neither one of them are good.
Okay. Yeah.
Hear my dog snoring.
No. I-
Okay, so it definitely belongs to structural family therapy. And remember, the goal is to have the mom and dad are supposed to be in charge. Mom and dad set the rules. No matter what therapy we say, we always have mom and dad that are setting the rules. Okay. So alignments describe the pattern of connection and disconnection between family members. A family member might align with the other, or they might oppose the other one. And coalitions are more specific alignments where two or more family members form an alignment against the other one. So I have usually seen them used interchangeably. So in a good family, let me show you, good family, healthy family. So healthy family, see, healthy boundaries. Mom and dad are at the top. They're in their own place. They're in their own rules. And the son and daughter are belief. They're so the boundaries are very clear and very healthy. Okay. In when we're doing coalitions, then we're having enmeshed or disengaged boundaries. Okay. So we see in the healthy family, it's very clear. The boundaries are very, very clear. We know who belongs to what. Okay. And then we have this one. Do you see how the boundary goes between like father and son, or between mother and the sister? So those are, so most often we think of of either one of them. I usually use interchangeable, is it's messing up the hierarchy. So if mom in a married couple where the 5-year-old still sleeps in the bed with the parents, that's an alignment or a coalition. Okay. Mom and dad can't do mom and dad things because the 5-year-old is still in the middle of the bed. So our boundaries are not appropriate. I said 5, because I breastfed a lot more longer than I'll ever tell anybody. So I purposely said 5, not like 2 or 3, because I breastfed longer than I'll ever let anybody know. So, okay. So does that help? And I haven't seen a difference between coalitions and alignment. Neither one of them are good.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Let's go back. Let me see. Before, in that chapter before, did we go over questions on those listening skills?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
So let me go back to that and then I'll come up with family questions. And when I leave, I don't usually give you questions. That's why I don't usually give questions. You see that in the chat box? Can you open it to Word doc? You open?
It's making me download it first and then I'll check.
I was able to open it.
I'll put them in the box as well. That's still that same chapter 3 of going over those listening skills. So if you guys want to work on those together, just give me a minute, okay? I put them in the Word doc. They're shared on my paper. I think they're tiny on my paper. That's why. So can anybody see them someplace? Okay, be right back.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Great.
Okay. Well, let me get my screen together so I can see stuff. All right. It says, a counselor who openly shares with a client, I'm feeling frustrated because we've been discussing solutions for weeks, yet I see little follow through. Is primarily demonstrating A, congruence, B, empathetic understanding, C, concreteness, or D, summarizing. I'm going to eliminate empathetic understanding and D, summarizing. Empathetic understanding, the statement would have to come from the client so you can understand, put yourself in those shoes, correct? And then summarizing is repeating back what the client had said, summarizing what they had said, so you're both on the same page. Congruence and concreteness are what's left, and I'm going to go with C, concreteness.
Yes, I agree.
Why do you guys say that? Because I was thinking summarizing, because the counselor is basically telling them, hey, this is what we've been doing, this is where we're at, but I'm not seeing the like I feel like she, so I'm curious why concreteness.
So, okay.
Because I saw it as that they're being specific and not vague about what they're not happy about. That's how I saw it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And like she said with summary, the counselor is just repeating what the client all said. This is the counselor telling what the client what she feel about what's going on. So yeah, I was gonna ask you why you pick concrete too, but I see why you didn't pick congruent, because that even though that's just thought, congruence, you matching how you feeling. But that's to the client matching how they feeling to the therapist. So yeah, I see why you pick C.
Anybody have any? We don't know the answer, so the real answer. I'm gonna go with, like I said, concreteness. Like I said, I feel like concreteness because of it is the ability to help the client by expressing your thoughts of like reflecting on their treatment. Like, we said we were going to do X, Y, and Z, and that's not happening. So basically being very direct and clear in a detailed manner.
Okay, if we all agree, then we can go to the next one. That way we at least get an idea of all of them. Okay,
You
I
want me
guess
to
number
copy
2.
from somebody?
If anybody else wants to read.
I can read the next one. So when a counselor reflects the client's emotional tone and thought content in a way that deepens self-awareness, they are demonstrating A, empathic understanding, B, interpretation, C, restatement, or D, paraphrasing. So the question is asking like when the counselor reflects the emotion of the client and the thought content, what are they demonstrating? So I would eliminate paraphrasing, and then I would eliminate restatement. So I'm left with empathic understanding or interpretation. And so I would go with A, empathic understanding.
Why? Kathy, why?
Why empathic understanding? Because they are reflecting the emotional tone. Or maybe, okay, now I'm here. Now I'm questioning myself. Mm,
But we can't change our answers on the test, Kathy.
mhm,
Don't second
okay.
guess yourself.
Okay, then
That's
I'll
what
go.
you think.
Yeah.
That's what you think. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, don't second guess yourself.
Anybody else have something different than I did?
Okay, do y'all want to go to the next one or do y'all want to stay here a little bit?
We could just go to the next. I mean, anything we have questions, we could always ask Dr. Pam when she returns. So we can keep going.
Okay, who wants to do the next one?
I can do it. In the middle of a tense session, the counselor says, right now I feel a distance between us. Are you sensing that too? This is example of, so in the question, right, the counselor is just explaining how, she feel and that she asking the client, does she feel the same way? So A is immediacy, B is concreteness, C confrontation, D empathetic understanding. So I want to get rid of B, concreteness. And I don't know, this is hard for me because I would think it'd be empathetic understanding, but it might not be. So, and that's just me.
Where I'm kind of torn is because like with immediacy, that's what's happening at this moment, right? And so the
Mm-hmm.
keyword that I see is right now. I feel
Mm-hmm.
a distance between us right now, not yesterday, not the
Right.
past few weeks, right now. So then I'm torn between immediacy and concreteness. I mean, I'm sorry, confrontation. Only
Yes,
because,
exactly.
yeah. So I
The
would be torn
confrontation is when
Mhm.
my body and my mouth don't line up. Call me on it.
Okay.
So if that's how you felt also, then we can go back to the question. We would notice the right now you know,
Just
or
at that
whatever else
moment.
stands out. Whatever else would stand out, and then you would make your answer.
Okay, so what was the first one?
The first question.
We-
Mm-hmm. A counselor who openly shares with the client, I'm frustrated because we've been discussing solutions for weeks, yet I see little follow through. This is a primary demonstration of what?
We said concreteness.
Okay. So let me show the correct one, counselor. What number was that one? Two. Counselor, hold on. I didn't start with the. I was trying to figure out what question I gave you, where I started.
A counselor shares openly with a client, I'm feeling frustrated. Yeah.
That one is congruence.
So it's not concrete. Okay.
Okay. The client who openly shares with the counselor who openly shares with the client, I'm feeling frustrated because we have discussed solutions for weeks that you've done little follow through. Okay. So congruence is what comes out of my mouth is matching my body. So for what Gestalt would, I'm sorry, Carl Rogers would say that's genuineness. I'm just being real with you. That makes sense? Next one.
The next, sorry, the next one I picked A, empathic understanding.
Okay. So, and who would that belong to as well?
Carl Rogers.
Mm-hmm. So other people could use it, but in general, that's what I'm looking at. Those terms would happen just to belong to Carl Rogers. So let's say there. So he reflects the client's emotional tone and thoughts and thought content in a way that deepens self-awareness. So why is that not? Because the reflection's not there. That's why. Because that's what I would have picked, but it's not there. Next one.
The next one, we was just starting on the third one.
Okay, let's talk about that one then.
We had, well, I said that I think, yeah, B was out of the question, and I think I said D. Oh, my heck.
Didn't you say A, Shataya?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were torn between A and C.
Mm-hmm. It was torn between A and C, and we picked A for that one.
Okay. So what was that question? My counselor? Everything is falling apart?
No, nope, not 4.
In the middle of a tense session is how it starts.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
There you go.
Be confrontation.
Yep, it was A. Look at that, Edna. It was A.
So it was A.
Yeah, it was A.
The immediacy, I talk about it as a teaching moment, that we're doing it right here and right now, and I want to demonstrate what it looks like. I think about when I think about that, I think about when my girls were little, we were taking my Girl Scouts and we were, doing the beach cleanup. And there were like dirty condoms, and they were probably about 8. And I used the conversation, we had ticky things, yeah. But I used the conversation to talk about, what a condom was, and not in detail, but that's immediacy. So while it's right here and right now, let's go ahead and just discuss it. Okay. What was the next one? This one? I think I skipped order.
It starts with when a counselor responds.
That one.
We hadn't looked at it yet.
No, I can tell the answer is reflection. What makes it reflection?
Because the counselor's restating a motion instead of
Got it,
just
got it. Reflections are always the feelings, words the client didn't say. Okay. Summarizing is almost always at the end, but sometimes I've seen it where it says it's chunking a lot of information. So that's summarization. Restatement is exactly what the client said. Sometimes you're trying to clarify, this is what you said, or I heard you say this and this and this. Paraphrasing is putting in your own words, so they know that they've been heard. And concreteness, of course, is giving real examples. So we talk about, some mornings I just feel so depressed. I want to know specifically, tell me, is it Monday at 6 o'clock, Tuesday at 6 o'clock? What are you doing? Give me a very concrete example of that instead of talking in vague terms. Okay. In about 2 weeks, the questions I just put in your chat box you'll have to buy from we're hooking up with a new program. It's called Brainscape, and we are writing questions. So it'll be like pocket prep. So you get them for free. So we're going to, that's our goal. That's why I've been so careful about our questions, is because we're writing and building a program for all the tests that it'll be Dr. Pam's test world with more of the questions that I like. The pocket prep would not let us would only let us stick with black and white, and I can't do that. That's the way the questions are written. Those are in written recall style. Those are recall call questions. But most of the questions that you see that I write are going to be more of higher order of thinking. Let me show you what that would look like. This is a little bit longer than I like, but our goal is to really show questions that are much more like the test. So that's a lot longer than I'd like, but. So Maria, a licensed professional counselor, has been meeting with her client David for 6 weeks to address ongoing procrastination at work. In previous sessions, they identified specific strategies, creating a structured to-do list, etc. During this session, Marissa leans in and says, "I'm frustrated because we've been discussing solutions for a week, yet I see little follow-through." David shifts in his seats and mumbles, I know, or I'm not sure what I'm doing. Later in the session, Maria notices tension in the room. Right now, I feel a distance between us. Are you sensing that too? And the third one is, now the end of their time, David says, I feel like a terrible father. I can't even help my daughter with her homework. Marissa says, you feel like you're not meeting your own needs as a parent. So instead of just simply picking out a recall, you'd have to then go through the vignette and put them in right order of which of the which of the active listening skills they were using. That's a little bit longer than I'd like for it to be, but the recall questions of what we did before is simply recall, and you just don't get a lot of those on the test. You get more of the vignette style or the single line that are very, very vague. Okay, so let's go talk about some family things. Okay. Volunteers. Who wants to pass?
Game to go.
Go ahead.
A couple in therapy reports constant conflict over parenting style. The therapist knows that when the argument escalates, their teenager son often begins skipping school, which redirects their attention towards him instead of their emotional issues. From Bowen's perspective, this dynamic best illustrates. So, if I remember from Bowen, he was all about going back into history of the family.
Got it.
So the family was, which is, yeah, the genogram.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was specific on that the child wasn't a problem, the family was.
He didn't necessarily say that. So he is more the one that says we keep repeating the patterns over and over and over again. Okay. We talk about the importance of emotional cutoff, right? Because we are all fused as one family. We all make the same decisions. We all make the same thoughts and beliefs. Usually I talk about a family that typical brown or black family, and it's 3 a.m. and somebody got shot, and you got to wake everybody out of bed, and everybody's got to get up there, and there's 27,000 people in the emergency room about to call the pastor to get out of bed, and everybody's like, oh, he's just poor child. And the one who's the emotional cutoff says, y'all know he killed 3 people already. Come on, right? Because nobody's going to talk about the elephant in the room and the family, right? We just we don't talk about that because we all stay in that emotional. And he said mass. We're emotional mass. I say mess. We're an emotional mess. And especially if there are elders in the room, we ain't gonna we may mumble out of our, y'all know he killed people, right? Y'all know he. Okay, so but that's what he said, that we're all a mess. We're all entangled. And remember, he wrote this many, many years ago when every theory that we write, that we study, there were no brown or black people. There were also no divorces and you know, baby daddies and stepmamas. So remember, when we're doing this, it's old school traditional family. So while it may fit my family scenario, okay, it doesn't mean that I can bring my family scenario into what's happening. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. Now, I know that I just described a situation that none of you have only seen on TV. I get that you've just seen it on TV, and families never ever do anything like that. Okay, we can go back to the Hatfield and McCoys in the country, and you know, you're wrong. One of the family members, and every family member got their shotgun. Oh, that was my family too. I don't know. Somebody needs to say, stop, we don't do this. Okay,
This is
now.
not actually normal in society. Yeah.
But we're caught up in the family, right? It's normal in the family. So we don't get that it's not normal until we see some other people's family. Okay, go ahead.
So going to the answers, right? A, multi-generation transmission process. B, triangulation. C, social regression. D, emotional cutoff. She already told y'all why it's not probably emotion cutoff. She gave you. So D is out of the question. And I was thinking about C being out of the question as well. So we left with triangulation and multi-generation transmission process. So my answer is B, due to the fact of when I was watching your family therapy video of triangulation, it's the when two people argue, they go to the third, they go to that extra person, which is third person, and most likely it's the child.
It's
And
not
so when
always. You're right, but not always. So in couples counseling, if the therapist takes the side of one of the couples, that's still triangulation. Okay. If mom and dad are fighting and she calls her mother, that's still triangulation. Okay. So whenever two people are fighting and a third party is brought in to stop the fighting between the two. Okay.
I wanted to ask you about that. I remember when I was in my practicum and I had that happen so much, and I was actually to triangulate how to balance that out. Because I felt so bad leaving them because I couldn't do what I really want to do for the couple. But I was trying to like teach them how to better communicate within themselves. But they always put me in the middle. And it wasn't literally just the both of them. It would be
Okay,
mostly the husband.
so tell her she's wrong, right? She's wrong. Okay, so you say to them, well, that's a conversation you two need to have. Remember, my decision doesn't really matter. I'm bracketing, I'm keeping my stuff. So to turn that in and to go back to him and say, well, let's make that I statement to her. Because they're trying to wrangle you in to pick a side, and as a therapist, you can't do that. The whole couple is your client, and it's when you're young, it's hard because you just want to fix it and make it better. And I don't mean young in age; I mean young in therapy practice.
Yeah, like it was so hard and I wanted to help
Mhm.
so bad. And I
But
didn't
teaching,
know how to work them couples out. I feel so bad because I hope they got the help they need. But it was so hard because the man, he just wanted his fiance to do like different stuff besides what she was already doing. And she just made it more difficult. Like she didn't trust him no more. She got to the point where she didn't fully trust
oh,
him.
you
So
picked a side. You picked a side. Yes, you did. The way that you're talking to me, you picked a
yeah,
side.
I
You
did.
picked a
And you
side.
tell
Oh,
I
that's
did, and I felt so
countertransference.
bad. I
That's
felt so bad.
countertransference. Seek
I,
supervision. Countertransference. Your feelings was all up in that couple.
it
Bracketing.
was so
Keep your
bad.
stuff to yourself.
It was so bad. That's why I was like, oh my gosh, I know I'm young in couple therapy, but this is it's stressing me out.
You just needed supervision. You should have had a good supervisor that you could run that by because that your feelings were in there.
Yeah, and she told me that when I talked to her about it, she told me that she's gonna fix it. She's gonna fix what I did wrong because she said and the hardest thing was that the couples never, it's not that they never got along, they couldn't work it out. They couldn't work out no matter how hard they tried. And I'm like, can you fix it? Give it to somebody who's been doing it for me for therapy.
That's common, especially when you're new. And I'll say again, new in the field, not necessarily because you can be 50 and still be new in the field and still struggle with those. You're just learning. You're just learning. Okie dokie. Who wants this one?
I'm sorry. So what the answer was B?
The answer was B.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it. Okay.
Well, go ahead, Sheena.
When a strategic therapist reframes a child's rebelliousness as a strong desire for independence, the goal is to.
I want to change that to relabel. Now, strategic family therapy is relabel, not reframe.
Okay.
Remember, structural family therapies, reframe.
A, promote enactments of defiant behavior. B, change.
Stand my question. So talk to me about a strategic family therapist first before I look at any of the answers.
When a strategic therapist relabels the child's rebellious behavior as a strong desire, the goal is to change the I want to say to change the language.
Okay. So what does strategic family do? Somebody help her out. Give me some verbiage that belongs to strategic family therapy.
Communication. They have strategies when it comes around communication. They are like big on that.
Okay. So give me an example of what strategies we would use.
To define the problem.
How we communicate. Sorry.
So to define the problem.
So again, I'm looking for the verbiage that strategic family therapists would use. They would use first and second order change, right?
Yeah.
They would use the paradoxical. They would use prescribing the symptom. So in that one line, I'm trying to just, before I look at any of the questions, I want that verbiage that belongs to strategic family therapy to be in my head before I look at any of the questions. Especially in that one line, I've got that when I see that name, my theories have to just come like swirling in my hair. Okay. This is strategic. This is what they do. Okay, so relabeling. They talk about how we communicate. They're not like the structural families that are toe up from the flow up. These have issues communicating. Okay, So now let's read all four.
A, promote enactments of defiant behavior. B, change the meaning of the behavior to reduce resistance. C, increase differentiation of self. D, reduce enmeshment between parent and child. Gonna take out D.
Okay. Who does that belong to?
Structural.
Very good. The strategic family therapy is how we communicate. So these
Increase differentiation of self, change the meaning of behavior to reduce resistance, promote enactments. I'm gonna take out C.
who does that belong to?
I don't remember.
Somebody help her out.
Bowen.
Bowen. That's Bowen. Absolutely good.
The goal is to change the behavior.
So now I'm down to 2. Okay. I'm going to go back to the 2 and go back to the question. Okay. So no matter how much you study, there's always going to be things you just don't know. So we're trying to learn test taking skills. If I don't know, let's go back and see what answers the question. Okay. So the question is, the strategic therapist labeled the child's rebellious as a strong desire for independence. Why did I do that? Why did I relabel it?
To make the behavior more desirable.
So what's my answer?
Change the meaning of the behavior to reduce resistance, promote enactments of divine.
It's not to make it more desirable, but it's to look at it differently.
Right.
That makes sense. So relabeling puts a positive spin on it. So if I can get the parents to see, yes, rebellious makes it feel like that he's like getting on my nerves, right? But if I get the family to see that, you know what, he just wants more independence than your other children did.
So A.
No, B is my answer. I'm not promoting the enactment of defiant behavior. I want to do B. I want to change the meaning of the behavior. Relabeling, reframing, and interpreting it mean the same thing. I'm trying to let them look at the situation differently.
Okay.
Does that make sense, everybody? How we got there? Okay. So relabeling, reframing, and also interpretation all mean this, not Freud's interpretation, but interpreting behavior. Right? It helps us see it differently. You know, that's how you write your resume. Instead of saying that you worked at McDonald's, you were worked in a fast pace, providing wonderful food to engaging customers. You relabeled, right? You just want to look at it differently. That's all that
You
means.
made that sound so nice.
Don't we?
You made it sound so nice.
That's the goal. That is the goal. I'm not lying. I just looked at it differently. Need help writing your resume? Let me know. I'm pretty good. You're a domestic goddess. Okay. Kathy?
When a strategic, is it the, I don't see another
A
question.
therapist? I'm putting chat box.
Okay. A therapist tells a couple who argue daily to schedule a 15-minute argument time every evening and save all complaints for that slot. This directive best illustrates A.
Stand my question. What's happening?
So a therapist is telling a couple to schedule a like an argument time. So that way they have a time in place to say like their complaints. And so what is the what directive or of the choices is best that
Mhm.
illustrates this.
Mhm.
So A is mimesis, B is prescribing the symptom, C is societal regression, or D, structural mapping. So I would eliminate structural mapping.
Who does that belong to? Do you know?
Yes, it's the one who did Echo Map, which
It
is
is not. It is not.
oh,
That is Mnuchin. So structural mapping for him is he wanted to look at, so remember, he's just at the family level. So not at the, hold on. Add it up. So the eco map looks at all the people in your environment. The structural map is just who's in the family and who might have relationships with who in the family. Okay, so the circle is the household, right? So and the same kind of thing, the stronger the lines, the better the relationship. So we see that inside the house, there's mother, stepfather, sister, and the IP, right? The IP is the kid who's acting out. We don't believe he's the real problem, but remember, IP is the identified patient. And then outside would be school, church, and birth father. But we're not looking at all of the environment. We're only looking at things that are pointing to the one they said is the problem.
okay.
That's a structural map, and that's Mnuchin.
Okay, then I would
Right.
eliminate that one and then eliminate societal regression.
Mhm.
And then I'm left with mimesis and prescribing the symptom. So again, my question is asking, what is the best directive that illustrates a therapist telling a couple to schedule a 15-minute argument time? I would eliminate mimesis because that is Salvador Minuchin. And
What does it mean?
mimesis is basically like mimicking what the family is doing. Like if they take a shower at this time, then they will take a shower at that time.
Okay. So I'm not trying to make fun of them. I'm just trying to we like people that are like us. So if they lean back, I lean back. If they lean forward, I lean forward. Okay.
Mhm.
I was getting a little scary there when you said take a shower. I thought maybe you were going at the same time. I'm like, I don't know what kind of family therapy you be doing.
Okay.
But yes. Okie dokie. So he's prescribing the symptom. Remember, that's a part of the paradox, and I can only do that after I have tried other things.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Go.
Did you say Joe?
I did.
Okay, could you there we go. Okay. There it is. Okay. A client who grew up in a high conflict home moves across the country and cuts all contact with their family, believing that they have escaped the dysfunction. Bowen would caution the therapist that this client may still be at risk for dysfunction because so this is addressing the fact that Bowen believed that just because you separate yourself physically doesn't mean you've actually separated yourself from the dysfunction of your family. So A, emotional cutoff does not resolve underlying fusion. B, physical distance increase multi-generational transmission. C, societal regression is inevitable. And D, a genogram cannot account for individual differences. I'm going to eliminate D because we're not talking about creating a genogram here. I'm going to eliminate C. And I'm going to say I'm stuck between A and B. I'm fairly certain the saying that emotional cutoff does not resolve underlying fusion is incorrect because he recommends that we remove ourselves from our family of origin, especially when it's
So the question is asking though, is that does moving away necessarily break those ties?
No, it does not.
Okay, so you can live next door and still make a decision to make that emotional cutoff. So that's the issue. You moving away. If you keep calling home every 5 minutes, you're still part of the craziness.
You might as well be living next door.
Got it. Okay, so B can't be true.
Yes, okay, because it doesn't increase it necessarily.
Got it.
So I guess the word does not resolve underlying fusion is the part that got me. I feel like
because
it should
moving
say does.
away does not unless I truly cut off. Okay, so emotional cutoff.
But the emotional cutoff would.
Yes, but this question says he moved away. Okay. So that's what he wanted you to understand.
Okay.
That moving away is not necessarily enough to be emotionally cut off.
Okay.
And even if I didn't know, C can't be true.
Yeah, no, C and D were automatic outs for me. A and B have at least some of the terminology accurate for the question, so that's why I was.
I don't see this a lot on the test. I really don't, but let me explain it to you. Societal regression, that's a Bowenian term. I just don't see it a lot on the test. And I've never had anybody come back to me and say, you didn't teach me that. So let me just go over it with you. It is a Bowenian term. And what he says is, so societal aggression in his extension of family emotional process to the larger community. At its core, societal regression occurs when, so what happens is when society gets worse, we tend to go back to our crazy. So during economic recession, policymakers may focus on immediate political population than sustaining physical reform, making emotional, satisfying, but short-sighted choices. Just as an undifferentiated family may avoid long-term problems in favor of quick relief from anxiety. So we tend to regress to what we know, almost like regression. Okay, so societal regression is the worse society gets, then the more often families tend to go back to that craziness. Anybody sent on the test? I just don't usually see that. Okay, I just wanted to give you that because we've seen it a couple of times from questions, and I don't usually say on the test though. I'm trying to keep myself calm. There's the baby in the picture, and I'm really trying not to like.
Sorry.
I
He
just
needed
want to
to
reach
eat.
through the
And so
screen and just hold him and just.
I was gonna say he's 2 weeks today, so he is at the best hold of the time. Still all curled up and scrunched. So
Look at that.
but,
Look at me lifting my head up. I'm like, I'm ahead of the game.
yeah, literally as soon as he came out of the womb, he was trying to turn his head.
That.
Kid. I know.
So Piaget would say, right, he's in the sensory motor stage. He's learning to see the world, right? And then as he begins to move and crawl, he will begin to, those senses will help him learn. His little schema will develop. Okay, who wants this one? Thank you, Edna.
I'll take another one.
We're going to give everybody a chance first.
Okay.
But you don't worry, you get another one. I don't mind.
You want me to
Go
go,
ahead.
Doctor?
Edna, this is yours.
Okay. Question 24. A therapist notices that a teenager becomes more withdrawn the more parents encourage him to be social. The therapist advises the parents to encourage him to spend even more time alone so he can recharge. This technique is best described as what? So the therapist notices that the parents want the teenager to be more social. The therapist advises the parents otherwise. So for him to spend more time alone so he can recharge.
Mm-hmm.
So the therapist is advising one thing about the teenager, but the parents are, the therapist notices that the parents are advising the opposite. So the parents are advising for him to be more social, but then the therapist is advising for him to spend more time alone.
Mm-hmm.
So this technique, it would be best described as what? Would it be best described as a therapeutic double bind? B, boundary making? C, unbalancing? Or D, emotional cutoff? Okay, so I'm going to cross 2 out. I would cross out a therapeutic double bind.
Let's not do that.
Not yet? Okay.
No.
This technique is best described as I would cut out emotional cutoff.
Okay, that belongs to Bowen.
Yes. I would take out unbalancing.
Who does that belong to?
Unbalancing. Let's see. Unbalancing.
That's still going to be structural family therapy. So unbalancing is unbalancing your homeostasis and trying to rock your norm.
Okay.
Okay, because remember the families you work with, their norm isn't healthy.
Right. Okay. So I need to add that with disrupt. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my question. So again, my question is talking about the parents are encouraging for a teenager to be more social. The therapist is advising the opposite. So they're advising for him to be alone so he can recharge. So this technique, it's best described as what? Would it be best described as a therapeutic double bind, or would it be described as boundary making? I see double bind as mixed messages.
The therapeutic double bind is the therapist is telling you.
The therapist is telling me mixed messages. Is that what you mean, doctor?
I am, yes. So the therapist noticed the teenager becomes more withdrawn. And withdrawn, and when the therapist noticed the teenager becomes withdrawn, the more parents encourage him to be social. The therapist advises the parent to engage, to encourage him to spend more time alone. I'm telling them to do the opposite.
Okay, I see that. Yes. Which is,
Okay.
I had said the opposite.
So that's the therapeutic double bind. So double bind is I can't win. Okay. So right now, what they're doing with the kid is they keep encouraging him to be more social. And what happens is when they encourage him to be more social, he changes the other, he doesn't.
Right. He
So
withdraws.
now I'm telling you to do the opposite.
Okay.
Okay.
I knew it wouldn't, I would have chosen that anyway. I don't think there's anything wrong with boundaries. They're not saying, that it doesn't sound like they're crossing boundaries or anything. I mean, they're still parents and that's still teenager. So I would have chosen that anyway.
Okay.
Thank you, doctor.
So did we go over first and second order changes?
Briefly, yes.
Okay. Is everybody good with those?
Strategic, right?
It is strategic. What's the difference?
The first is only addressing surface level changes, ignoring the underlying issues, and the second is you digging a little bit deeper, investigating the hows and the whys.
Oh, I'm not necessarily investigating the hows and the whys. It's really more of a behavior change. So if I can get you to change your behavior, at some point it really becomes natural. Okay, Kia, look at that one.
Okay. A couple argues daily about household chores. The therapist suggests they create a shared calendar to track responsibilities. After 2 weeks, the arguments stop, but underlying resentment remains. This intervention most reflects. I'm going to eliminate A, second order change, B, first order change, C, differentiation of self, and D, societal regression. Going to eliminate C and D.
Those belong to
Bowen.
good.
And then I am going to choose the intervention most reflects B, first order change.
Absolutely. What words in the question do I know that it's not a real change?
Because the resentment remains.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So the goal is if I can get through the first order, that's going to eventually decrease the tension. Okay. And eventually, and yes, we can process it, but at least we're not at the fact that we can't stand each other. So the first order change is just faking it. Just go through the motions. Okay. Joe, take this one.
I can't see it on the screen. Would you
Forget
mind
it.
putting it in the
Yeah,
chat
put in the
for me?
chat box. I
Sorry.
apologize.
My eyes are apparently too old for them.
You just got mama eyes, that's all.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
A structural therapist works with a disengaged family. Instead of only encouraging more phone calls between members, the therapist restructures boundaries to increase emotional involvement and change leadership roles in the parental subsystems. This reflects second order change, first order change, triangulation, or enmeshment. All right, so structural versus strategic. So we're looking at the structure of the family itself. And instead of just doing...
So that's wrong. Oops. Well, no. I'm gonna leave it.
Should I go on, or do we need to change?
Yeah, go on. No, go on.
So instead of just changing, surface level stuff like, hey, call each other more often, compliment each other every day, the therapist is really making bigger, more, deeper changes. So it's not going to be the first order because, like I said, they're deeper changes than just phone calls and platitudes. It's not triangulation because it's not two members and then a third coming in to break it up. They're disengaged. They're not enmeshed, and it says that in the it says that in the question. So it'd be second order changes.
Okay. So I was gonna change it, but I wanna on the test, because sometimes remember they came from the same school of systems theory.
Mm-hmm.
So for it to be a structural family therapist, they still could use first and second order change, especially when nothing else matched.
But those are more okay, but those are more associated with strategic, usually.
Yes, anyway. Yes. But because they sound so, remember they came from the same school, sometimes you'll see the words overlap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, but what they were doing, the only term in this one that belonged to structural was enmeshment. Mm-hmm. And enmeshment didn't fit.
But it said the family was disengaged, so that one was automatically counted out.
Got it. Okay. So just want to make sure that didn't confuse you.
No, I was thinking about that. I'm not gonna lie. I said the only word that's matched for structure right now is enmesh. That's what I thought. I ain't gonna lie, D was the answer, but then I'm like, D can't be
but
the
it didn't answer
either.
the question, so
yeah.
And I was gonna say, if the family was a mesh already, the therapist definitely should not be suggesting, an increase in emotional involvement. So.
Dana, is this yours?
A therapist instructs parents to exaggerate their scolding when their child interrupts, making it so over the top that it becomes humorous. This directive is most consistent with. So the therapist is asking for the parents to increase the behavior, exaggerate the scolding when the child interrupts and makes it over the top. So increase the behavior, make it more, the directive is most consistent with prescribing the symptom.
Same question. What
Uh,
does this mean? So what does it mean? You read it
There,
again, but I still didn't get that you got it. Okay, so
so
tell me what it's telling me.
the therapist wants the parents to exaggerate the behavior, wants the parents to when the child interrupts, the therapist wants the parents to scold, to
But to scold them so much and make it like ridiculous
Right.
that it
make
becomes
it
funny. Right? Oh my gosh, you didn't clean your room. I can't believe you didn't clean your room. Do you know that you didn't clean your room? Do you know there are people when there are people in China that probably wish they could clean their room? What do you think about that? Well, you know what? I bet if there were 12 elephants in this room and there was poop on the floor, you would clean your room, right? Right? Just kind of over exaggerate. That's what it means. Just make it like ridiculous.
Mhm.
Okay, does that make sense? Is that what
Mhm.
I know that's not there, but I'm just kind of envision what that would look like.
I guess when I do it to my daughter sometimes.
Okay.
So,
You ever look
um,
under the bed for the pigs? Because the pigsty. Like, I know there are pigs in here. It's got to be pigs in here.
yeah.
That's what I would do, right? That would be,
So A, prescribing the symptom, B, therapeutic double bind, C, reenactment, and D, unbalancing. I would take out D.
okay.
I would take out C.
Okay. Enactments. Do you know who that belongs to?
Structural.
It does. Absolutely. Very good. And sculpting belongs to strategic.
Okay. I feel like it's prescribing the symptom.
I think you would be right. Okay. And then unbalancing belongs to who?
I'm not sure about unbalancing.
Oh, yes, you are. So we're trying to rock their homeostasis, change their norm. Somebody help her out.
Structural?
Structural. Structural. That's why he joined the family, right? Because he was trying to, your norm, what you're doing is not working.
Okay.
Okay.
And I know the therapeutic double bind is strategic.
Got it. Got it. You got it right. Very good. Very good. Let me just kind of show you family sculpting. So in family sculpting, I'm going to ask the family how they see themselves in relationship to each other. So this is the father's sculpting, the first one. So asking the father how close we think or what's the relationship with each other in the family. So by the picture, what does the father think?
He disengaged. Like he
How do you see that?
look, I'm looking at the right picture.
So, okay, so this one is the son's sculpting. The first one is the father's.
He's close to his daughter more than he is with his son.
Not this one. I'll take that out. This one. That's the father.
Yeah, he's yeah. He's to me it look like he's
Do you see the arrow?
what'd you say?
Do you see the arrow right here? Errol?
Yeah, now I do.
It's my opinion. It doesn't give me directions, but my opinion is I think the father thinks he's the center of the universe and everything revolves around him.
Now I think about it, yeah. Yeah.
And that's what it looks like to me. That's my thought. That's that the father thinks that it's all about me. He's not particularly close to anybody, maybe the wife, but she's still a couple steps behind him. This is the mother's sculpting. So I asked everybody to, again, to put the family members of how close they see themselves in relationship. So this is the mothers. So what does the mother see? Tia, what does the mother see? Kia, I'm sorry.
The mother see, well, is she's close with her daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and the not close with the males in her family at all. Both of them have their backs turned towards her. Geesh.
So it's, and they're not even close to each other either. So it's, I would guess that she thinks the men in the family, the father and the son, don't communicate to each other. Or they're in their own little world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh.
This is the daughter.
Mm.
She's still young and naive. She thinks everything's just fine. She still believes in the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy, right? So that's family sculpting. That is putting people, and everybody gets an opinion, right, of how close they are to each other. This was the son. Okay, so the son then, he sees mom and dad maybe is not talking, but he and his sister are close. Okay,
Does
so
that
that one's,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, does that imply that he's not close to mom and dad either? Because they're not particularly close to the kids, and the kids, their backs turned to the kids as well as each other.
I would think so.
That's so sad.
Okay, so that's a strategic family term. So sculpting belongs to strategic. Enactment is structural. Enactment is, he'll ask you to reenact what happened at home last night, the fight, who was where, what happened. Okay. The other one that I don't spend a lot of time talking about is Whitaker, but Whitaker lived with you. So he's considered experiential symbiotic. He wanted to experience what it was like to be a member of your family. That makes sense? Okay. Okie dokie. I'm going to pick up some other questions that were in that chapter. Do we know what the Johara window is?
I vaguely recall it from studying by myself with your videos, but I'm not sure how well I really
We
got
didn't
it.
do them though.
I'm sorry, say that again.
We didn't do them though. Johar windows. We didn't do them.
What I heard you say is, Dr. Pam, would you explain the Johara window to us? That what you say? I need clear communication. Okay, not a mixed message, not a hold on, I just want to copy these. Okay, so the Johara window is by Joe and Harry Ingram. Joe, Harry Ingram and Joe something. That's why it's called Jahara. They took their 2 first names and they thought it'd be cute. The goal of the Jahara window is to make the goal is to get to know yourself and others in your group, in your environment, wherever you are. Many times it is used in an agency, it can be used in a group setting, but it really is about just kind of get to know better yourself and the people around you. Okay. So then what we look at is, it's like you're looking down on it. Okay. So known to self, known to others. So that green spot is my Facebook page. Everything, right? I'm putting everything out there. I always figure I'm going to out myself before someone else outs me. So if I'm someplace, especially in the public, I'll usually take a picture and post it so no one can say, girl, I saw Dr. Pam here. She was looking rough. Yes, I was. I'm just going to go ahead and put the picture out there. Okay. So I'm going to own it before anybody else owns it. So that is what I know about myself. So I'm looking down on it. So this is the left rear quadrant. This is the right rear quadrant. The hidden self, again, is the left front quadrant. And this is the right front quadrant. The goal is to make the right side smaller. If the right side gets smaller, then it has to go somewhere on the left side. So blind self is stuff that I don't know about myself that other people know about me. Okay. So what I think about many times is, so now the cars have, the great blinker system, but your blind spot is like that car right there that you can't see. So if you date the same kind of man, a simple one is, you leave the restroom and you got toilet paper stuck to your shoe and you're hoping somebody tells you. But in relationships, your friends, your coworkers can see things about you that you can't necessarily see. So do you realize that, trying to think, somebody tell me something, you tell me some things that maybe somebody's pointed out to you that you didn't realize about yourself.
My coworkers told me that when I know that I'm gonna have to talk in front of people, that I get really red. Like
Okay.
I get really, there's not a mirror in front of me when I'm standing up there, so I don't
Got it.
know that I'm turning red. I know
Got
I'm
it.
nervous, but what I do not see, but others see about me is, here's Edna on the stage again, and she's red. Everybody sees it. I don't see it.
So now that you know, your blind spot got smaller, right? So you had 2 choices. You could keep it to yourself, the hidden self, and not tell anybody. But since you already told us, it went to the green spot. Okay, so that's the goal, is learn things about yourself that others see, and the unknown are things maybe that you don't know or nobody else knows either. Okay. I always say that TD Jakes, I love him, and during COVID, he would say, if we're stuck in the house, stuck in the cave for 2 years, and you didn't learn anything about yourself, that's the problem. You were stuck in that house. You should have learned something about yourself. Somebody share something that you learned about yourself during COVID.
I learned that I enjoyed it way too much. I enjoyed COVID.
What did you enjoy? Not having to go to work, not having to talk to people. What was it?
That it was, people were scared to go out. So whenever I go out in traffic, like it was free of traffic. So it was a smooth breeze going home.
Got it.
Going to the store was easy too. So like
Got it.
I enjoyed
Got
it
it.
too
Got it.
much.
Got it. So then when you found out about yourself, then did you keep it to yourself or share with other people?
I actually shared it with other people.
Okay. So then your unknown self got smaller. I too traveled a lot during COVID. Disney was great. Can I tell you, there were like 5 people there. It was so great. We could have ridden any ride 1,000 times. And if you didn't have your mask on, I mean, I swear they had cameras everywhere. They just kicked you out. They had parking, and that was like, you know, if you go to Disney, the parking is like so tight. They had the safety parking. They're like 10 cars apart. And in line, there were like plastic partitions. So like you couldn't, and there was an X you had to stand on, and you couldn't get too close. If you got too close, they'd say, back up, back up, back up. So it was so careful. They're wiping down everything. We rode everything like 12 times. It was so cool. Okay. But I didn't post that because I was working from home, not Disney.
That hurts my
I
feelings.
swear
Again,
it
I
was
should have
so,
went to Disney.
it
I should have
was.
went to Disney.
And everybody was afraid to go, but there was nobody there, and we were so thankful there was nobody there. I don't even have pictures from that trip, and I take pictures of everything. I have no pictures from that trip because I was working from home. I was supposed to be at Disney, but it was great. It was absolutely amazing. So I learned that I like Disney without people. Somebody else, what did you learn? Sheena, what'd you learn about yourself during COVID?
Oh, I feel like I learned. I learned that I had to cut off people who were emotionally draining for me because it was a trigger for me.
Okay. So people are calling and you're just not answering the phone. Like, how did you handle that?
No, like I literally had to, in relationships and friendships, like just completely stop because it was just too much.
The divorce rate definitely went up after COVID, right? You realize you could not live with this person all the time. That's for sure. So that's the goal of Johara window, is when I learn things about myself, right? Then I have to, when I learn it, it makes my left side smaller and my right side bigger. Now, it looks very much like Carl Jung's archetypes.
That's what it confuses me with. I was going to tell you that. I mean,
But Joe and Harry say, no, we did not borrow from him. No way. Let me show you. The main difference I'll say is the Johara window has a purpose. Carl Jung's archetypes are just describing the archetypes. Okay, so the archetypes are the basis of the MBTI, right? The Myers-Briggs personality, right? So the 4 archetypes very much look like that. So the anima and the animus, remember that Carl Jung said inside of us, all of us have the opposite gender. The shadow, those are the devil horns. So those are things about myself that I'll never tell anybody. The persona is the mask I put on for the world to see, and the self is hidden. So very much similar, but Joe and Harry said, no, we didn't borrow that. No. But the main difference is that the goal of Johara window is to learn more about yourself. Okay. So let's see what that looks like in a question then. Okay. How did that go?
Yeah, so in the Johara window model, why might the unknown quadrant remain large for some clients despite long-term counseling?
I want to put 3 in there, guys. I've got to, let me run and say goodbye to him. Okay. You see all 3 of those in the chat box?
Oh, okay.
Yes, we can. Okay. You can work them together. Everybody.
Okay. So the question is asking why might the unknown continue with some clients even if they've been in long-term counseling? So A, the counselor is using too many behavioral interventions. B, cultural norms and fears limit exploration into uncharted self-awareness. C, the open area is already maximized. Or D, the hidden quadrant is smaller than average. So again, why might the unknown quadrant remain large for some clients despite long-term counseling? So I would eliminate C, the open area is already maximized. And I would do A, the counselor, I would eliminate the counselors using too many behavioral interventions. So I'm left with B, cultural norms and fears limit exploration into uncharted self-awareness. And D, the hidden quadrant is smaller than average. And I would go with B, the cultural norms and fears limit exploration into uncharted self-awareness.
I think so too. Yeah, is our goal is for open to be as big as it can be? Is that how she explained it? That's what we want. We want to know about ourselves and we want people to know about us.
Yeah, I guess like going from one area to the green box, the one that's.
Did anybody put the image in the chat by any chance?
I can put it if you want to have it.
Please.
Yeah.
I can't see.
I know I'm over here looking at it. I have it on a board here, like on my bed. So I keep
Oh.
looking over here because I'm like, okay, hold on. Maybe I need to see it.
Thank you.
But I would say B. I agree with you.
So you said B. Why am I the
Is there a goal in the Johar window to have one box like bigger than the rest, or is it just a way of explaining,
That's what I asked.
you know?
Like, is the goal
Yeah,
to
that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure.
I thought she said the goal was to have the right side be smaller.
which is blind and unknown?
Yes.
Okay. We want to know about ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I also understood. So to
Okay.
get to the open self, to be more aware about ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
say again, what is it? How does this work?
To make the right side, like the blind self and the unknown self, smaller, and to get to the open self, to be more aware about ourselves. That's how I interpret it. That's the goal.
So the goal is to basically move everything to green.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily to the green, but you can
the
keep it
left.
to yourself, but to the left.
Okay.
Okay. So you can decide.
At least
The goal
I
is to
know it.
learn more about yourself.
Yeah,
then
and
you
at
can
least I know
decide
it.
who you share it with. Got it. Okay. So what was the answer?
It was B.
Okay. Are we all in agreement?
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Next one. Oh, we're so
I'll
excited.
take it. I'll take it, Doctor.
Thank you.
I was
Okay.
looking for it. Is it in the chat? Yeah.
During implosive therapy, number 5. During implosive therapy, the counselor vividly describes anxiety-provoking scenes without allowing the client to escape imagery. Which learning principle is being applied? So the counselor is applying a learning principle, and she's saying that it's during implosive therapy.
Okay, so I
what
got a
they're
lot of
doing
figuring out to do. What are they asking me?
during implosive therapy, the counselor's vividly describing the anxiety-provoking scene without allowing the client to escape the imagery.
So what is implosive therapy?
Do you want me to
So-
say the answer?
No, I want you to understand implosive therapy first.
Okay. So if I'm afraid of spiders, then she's gonna have me close my eyes, and she's gonna say, okay, Edna, so you're in a room and the room is dark and you feel something crawl and you're sitting on a chair and you're imagining, okay, now you start feeling these tingling on you hear something on your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you feel something on your legs. And oh my God, and your hands are zip tied. And so then she's walking me through it as my eyes are, as
I'm imagining it.
yes,
Absolutely.
so my eyes are closed and blah blah blah. So she's walking me through this and my fears of these spiders.
Mm-hmm.
So she's walking me through this, and just like it mentioned, so it's vividly describing this anxiety-provoking scene without allowing me to escape the imagery of these spiders.
Got it. So what is my answer then?
So I would have taken out counter conditioning.
Okay.
So
Counter
that's the
conditioning
zero.
belongs to Pavlov, right? So if you've conditioned two things together, right? You have after dinner, you're used to smoking. You've paired those two things together. So to get you to stop smoking, I have to unpair two things. That's counter conditioning. Okay, good.
I would have also taken out operant conditioning because just like with Pavlov, we're not there. That's behavioral.
Okay, so operant condition is rewards and consequences, the positive and negative rewards and consequences.
That's
Good.
Skinner.
Okay.
Not there. Yes. I would have also taken out extinction because
Ooh.
Mm.
I don't think you would have.
No.
No. What is stress inoculation?
Stress inoculation is Meekenbaum.
And what does that mean?
For stress inoculation, that is the steps that helps me so that I can stress inoculation for the phobias.
Got it. So not phobias. Stress inoculation is stop, drop, and roll.
Oh, stress.
Remember? So it's preparing yourself for what might happen. So when you were in elementary school, the fireman came to your school and he told everybody what to do if they caught on fire, right? You remember you learned to stop, drop, and roll. He talked about what if if there's a house fire, you fill the doors, right? You stay low. Do you remember all that stuff? Yes. Do you remember elementary school and the firemen? Yes.
Yes.
That's stress inoculation theory. The stress inoculation is preparing yourself for what might happen. It's giving yourself a little bit of the shot, right? So you have a better idea of when it comes. So if you live anywhere in Texas, y'all better be having some generators, some water backups. I swear, everything that happens, if there's earthquakes, tornadoes, heat waves, ice waves, I don't know, but y'all need to be prepared, right? That's stress inoculation theory. So educate yourself that you live in an area that might not have been deemed a flood zone, but all of a sudden it is, right? What are you going to do? Rehearse that. So when my kids were little, especially, we rehearsed what to do if the house caught on fire, right? Jump out of the, we go out the window, go to the neighbor's house. So when the stress happens, that you already have a plan. So it's not stress inoculation theory. So
how
what
is it
is
extinction, doctor?
Will you tell me?
Because I remember when you've taught extinction, it's that it's no longer, how did you say it before? It was,
I've taken away all of the positive reinforcement, all the reinforcement.
right. So then, like you've mentioned, like if they stop paying you, then you become extinct at work.
Got it. So she has no way out. So the behavior will become extinct. They're trying to stop the behavior.
So it's B.
She can't escape.
But why wouldn't it be stress inoculation?
Stress inoculation talks about preparing yourself. This is one-time event.
Without, okay.
Stress inoculation is preparing yourself for what might happen.
Well, that one was hard.
So what I was looking for was flooding, right? Flooding is all at the same time, but flooding is real. Implosive is fake. So I'm trying to get the behavior to stop.
Say that again. Flooding.
Flooding is real. Flooding is if you're this is what I usually show. Hold on.
She usually uses the example when her kids would go to swimming like swimming classes, and when she would leave, they would just, I mean, the kids knew how to swim, right? But you just throw them in the pool. So
Right.
it's
Wasn't
just
me. It was the lifeguard. Just so you know, it wasn't me.
Right. It wasn't her. So for a statute reporter. So, and,
statute of limitations is up.
right. So they would just throw her kids in the pool and they knew how to swim. It was like maybe to perfect their swimming or something, you know? And
Just
so
to get over the initial fear of getting in the
Mhm.
water. Remember when
all at once. So
yeah.
think about like flooding, like she said, it's just all at once. It's a
Okay, so this is the difference. So Joseph Wolpe taught us systematic desensitization slowly, right? So what he says is slowly we're going to first of all get a baseline of relaxation. We're going to teach you how to relax. And then we're going to slowly teach you how to get to whatever your fear is. So systematic desensitization is the slow way of doing it. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have my client come in, and in real life, the only time I've done this is with people who needed to fly. Has a man whose child was getting married outside the country, and he wanted to go, and he just couldn't go. We thought he couldn't go. So the first thing we do is we teach them how to relax. We take them to their happy place, get them to breathe, be calm, whatever you use, whatever relaxation you use. Then we're going to come up, this is called the standard, what's it called? SUDS, the standard units of distress. So we're going to have the client come up with their level of distress. So what is the most stressful thing? Okay, sometimes it's called the hierarchy of anxiety. So we need between 10 and 15 things to get through this. So it's called the establishment of the hierarchy. So what happens is every time we're going to start off with somebody thinks about a spider, they're going to get anxious, and then I'm going to take them back to their happy place. Right? So we keep going up the level, and that's systematic desensitization. There's a system to desensitize you. The other way of getting at it is flooding. Do you see my picture of the spider? So there's a smaller picture, a bigger spider, a bigger spider. That's systematic desensitization. You see the big old spider just coming in the room? That's flooding all at the same time. Now, if I tell you to close your eyes and imagine the spiders crawling all over you, that's implosion. Okay. So this is how we get rid of phobias. Remember, phobias are irrational fears. By the way, yesterday somebody told me, and I think I might have mentioned you before, but acrophobia was on the test. Somebody told me yesterday.
Yeah, I had that on mine as well.
Do you know what it means? Think of acrobats.
It's heights, is it not?
Absolutely. Acrophobia is the fear of heights. And you will still treat acrophobia with systematic desensitization because it is an irrational fear. Okay. Okie dokies. So let me.
I'm sorry. So that one was, what was the answer for number 5
Extinction. Extinction.
What's extinction?
Because when we try to get rid of behaviors, that's what that is called. We're trying to get the behavior to stop. Okay, so the answers are here. I don't have time to go back through and separate them, but there are some study questions there with the answers. Okay, so we are going to move on to groups next week. Okay, they're in your chat box. So go over what we've gone over. This is the end of chapter 3. Okay, so now we're moving on to chapter 4. So again, the majority of questions are coming from chapters 3 and chapters 4. So we're just gonna again nail these theorists up, down, left, right. We're gonna be just so in love with them that we know them so well. Okay. Okie dokie, guys. We're clear on directions, and I made sure I gave you questions this time. I did not forget.
Thank you. Chapter 3, 4.
Chapter 4 is groups, but chapter 3 and 4, there are 100 questions. So that's why we spend so much time in these questions. The other biggest section is going to be assessment. There's about 36 questions in there.
You want us this week to go over 3 and 4 and regroups.
So 4 is the start of groups.
Okay.
Okay, so we've gone over 3. So this finishes 3. Okay. And then chapter 4 starts groups next week. So I'd like for you to go back over chapter 3 and then start studying chapter 4.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we good? You get everything on the chat
Yes,
box?
thank you.
Okay, bye
Yes.
guys.